Here we are at day 72, and our moths are emerging. This is our selected moths that we took from the larger population that were nice, big, fat ones and an even amount of both colors. And they're starting to come out. And so here's your female and here's your male. And they will stay like that for about 3 days. And then the female will lay eggs. So we'll film that for you so you can see that process. And one thing I like to do with my selected cocoons is to leave them in the house, but I also have the problem of dust. So we haven't talked about that, but the males flutter quite a bit and it creates quite a bit of dust. So I want to make sure they get plenty of air, so I just carefully put this over and it goes up here, and then I check it every once in a while, a couple of times a day, and I want to take the moths as they're emerging and put them over here so that they don't lay eggs on the cocoons. Okay, we're outside here still on day 72, and these are the ones that were not selected for special eggs. They're the regular cocoons. So I've created a moat here because I want this population, which is larger, to do their mating in the garage where the dust isn't in my house. So if you just have a few worms, I would just do this whole process in the house. But since I have maybe 500 worms here, I'm not sure, I'm going to create this moat. And you can see that bucket has a little hole in the bottom of it. And so then I'm going to take this and put it over the top. I want to line it with paper, clean paper, because I want to collect the eggs. Still want those eggs even though they're not the selected eggs. And line the edges with them, make them come out. And on a daily basis, I will come out here and try to put the moths in the middle where the eggs are not. Here's a guy right here. This looks like a little male. And he'll be looking for someone to mate with. I could take these that have already hatched. And you can see I'm going to put these in the middle. If you try to pick up ones that are already mating, be sure to pick up both wings from both sides so they don't come apart. And they're perfectly happy. You can see the behavior of the male. He's going to flutter, and the female just kind of sits around, and she's much bigger. Here's her eggs, and these eggs are going to turn gray. We'll talk about that later, and that means that they're ready for storage. You can see these little tiny eggs. And put these two guys right here. This female's just a little bit bigger. There we go. And I'll just throw the extra eggs in there because I'll collect those later. Want to try to keep poop out of here if we can. And then be sure to check your room. There'll be cocoons everywhere. And you want to place them all in here so they have room to hatch. If you allow them to just do their thing on the cocoons, they get kind of soiled, which is okay because they get washed anyway, but I just kind of like to keep, for sales purposes, I kind of like to keep my moths clean, or my cocoons clean. You can see right here, somebody came out. this guy came out and he kind of leaked liquid all over the eggs. So I'm gonna put these eggs over on the side.
All over the cocoons?
Yeah. And once a moth is emerged, I take these and put them in a dry basket so they can completely dry. I don't want to put them away in a Ziploc bag while they're still wet. You can hear that the jacket of the chrysalis is still in there. There's something rattling, but you want them to just naturally dry. So I'll put these in a basket, or a paper bag would work. And now that they've started, they'll be hatching pretty fast. The males like to hang out on top of the female cocoons. I'm not sure if they know they're female, but they do kind of just like sit on top of cocoons and wait. They hover. And once I've got these on the edge here, and I'll kind of clean them up on a daily basis. I'll pull them away from these areas, the moths. And now I'll put the lid over it because I also don't want dust all over the garage. But I definitely want them to breathe. And that's the process we'll be putting inside the garage. Okay. Okay, here we are watching females laying eggs. Kind of just stopped, but maybe they'll start again. And I've been cleaning the box. It's probably 2 or 3 days since they started emerging, and you can see they're really moving on it now. So what I've been doing is taking them off all these areas and holding on to them with both wings, her wing and his wing, so they're still attached, and putting them in the center. And then I want to clean this egg off, this cocoon off, clean the eggs off of it, and then put it back up in a higher spot, maybe up here somewhere, and pull this big female down, put her in the center so that a male can find her, and this big female here. The behavior is, see, the male is smaller and he flaps his wings quite a bit more. Here's one right here. So sometimes I'll just introduce the two and then they'll get started, but they don't really need introduction. They're pretty good at it. And then I'll take that egg that I pulled the two off of and the cocoon and try to get the eggs off of it. It's already been exited by the moth, and I want to make sure that the eggs get saved, so I'm pulling them off. And then I'm going to store them over in a basket where they can dry out nicely and not be walked on and have more eggs put on. So we just cleaned the box, and these are the cocoons that were exited by the moth. I'm going to store them in the house away from critters. There's a few ants on here. A few eggs on here, but not too bad. And as you're cleaning, I usually leave the outer silk that's not part of the cocoon. I leave that until the last inspection because it keeps eggs from sticking to the hard cocoon, but this is waste product, so as you're getting it ready, which we will show you later for storage, you'll be pulling that off.